Hello, welcome to Hardcore Casuals Podcast. It's podcast for a working class gamer that's too hard to be casual, but too core to be cool. I'm Tommy.
What?
Hello, and welcome to the Hardcore Casuals Podcast, the podcast for the working class geek that's too hardcore to be casual, but too casual to be hardcore. I'm Adrian.
I'm Danny.
And I'm Ivy.
And David's not going to be joining us today because he is celebrating the birth of his firstborn son. Yay!
Woohoo!
Actually, little Matt was born on what? The
Saturday,
1st?
I think.
It's
No.
Saturday.
It was a Saturday.
31st. No.
No,
No,
not
it was in November.
November 3rd.
What's wrong with you?
Yes.
Right? Yeah, November 3rd. And they just got home from the
3rd,
hospital.
Okay.
November 3rd. So, well, happy birthday to little Matthew. So, David, his wife, and baby are doing well. Just got home yesterday, and obviously, he cannot join us this evening. He has his hands full, but congrats to both of them. I'm sure you all join me in the sentiments. For us, with our children, we continue to record for you guys.
We continue to be children.
Yeah, I like it. I choose to be. You know what? What's that quote? You know, getting old is mandatory, growing up is optional. I truly believe that. Silence. Silence. You fuckers. All right, so I mean, let's go ahead and dive right in. I think the first thing that the three of us agreed we wanted to talk about, I think we all had time to binge and take it all in, but Stranger Things Season 2. I have some strong opinions about it, but I'll let you guys start the discussion. What did you guys think? Your reactions, thoughts on Stranger Things 2?
Yvette, please.
Well,
Wait. Are you telling me you did not see it?
No, of course I did. So first
No,
of all,
not you. Him.
I saw it, yeah.
Okay. But ladies first. How gentlemanly of you. The gentleman. Okay. Then go.
I was sick as a dog, and I still got home and binge watched 9 hours of Stranger Things until like 5 o'clock in the morning. I was so excited for that show. I enjoyed it. It was a little bit repetitive from the first season in terms of like the mechanics of, all right, the kids are doing their own thing, the teenagers are doing something fucking pointless again, and the adults are doing their own thing until eventually, you know, it starts to cross over, and then they all join together at the end. I thought that was a little formulaic, but there was just so many other good things that I didn't even care. Like, I loved how subtle they continued to do the 80s references that still, like, hit you in the nostalgia, but you know, it's not so in your face where you're like, all right, you're pandering now.
Wait, really? It wasn't. You think the '80s references are subtle?
I didn't think it was too much
marks on my
pandering.
face of the '80s. Remember the '80s? Like slapped on my face.
I got taken back to my birth.
I know. I think I saw my.
I enjoyed it. When I saw them in the arcade machine playing Dragon's Lair, and I was like,
God,
holy
yes.
fuck! I recall that game and getting so pissed off at it
Every time you died.
every time I died, which was very often.
Okay, that's everybody who played Dragon Quest. Come on. Dragon's Lair, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. But yeah, I would agree with you. Like, even the show kind of made fun of itself, that it was saying that it was kind of derivative of its own self on that. Mm-hmm. But I thought Stranger Things Season 2 did have enough differences from the first season, which to me, it actually disappointed me. But how about you, Daniel? What was your reaction for Season 2?
All the mystery and all the... I loved Season 2, by the way. But that whole...
Are you
okay?
okay?
It's not Season 1. It wasn't as impactful as Season 1 was. But it was still really good. I still loved it.
Would you say Season 1 was better?
Yeah, but only because it was brand new. It's like what it's like what Ivy was saying, that it was it didn't have the pizzazz, was it?
I just feel like the stakes weren't as high. I know they went bigger with the monster, but I didn't feel like I cared enough. Maybe because, you know, Will wasn't in mortal danger the entire time, and 11 was like stuck in the upside down. Like, none of that stuff was really happening in this season because it was resolved last time, but I just felt like the stakes weren't as high in this season.
I would agree with you on that, and I would agree on with Danny that season 2 lacked a certain je ne sais quoi. And as I actually rewatched it just to like try to pick it apart a little more critically, and it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't. They're trying to get away from the first season and trying to make the show a little bit different and new. And you saw that in episode 7, which was the most hated one. Everybody just hated that episode, the one where Eleven goes with her sister and the Scooby-Doo gang over there.
I mean, she basically had a little teenage rebellion.
Yeah, but I mean that just was just, it didn't fit, you know. But they're trying to do something different and lead the show a certain direction, because they can only do the same thing so much before it gets very boring, and predictable. But like you said, Ivy, yeah, I didn't feel like there was enough. Although there was big shadow monster and the Upside Down, I didn't feel like that anybody was in danger. You put it very well. But and the climax, I found the climax very anticlimactic. And when I rewatched it, I figured why, and it's because in the first season, they were all together. You had that Goonies vibe. Everybody was together looking for Will. They all had one goal in mind, right? In this one, what's the climax? It's basically Eleven and Hooper by themselves. Everybody else is off doing their own thing. So they're not really together. Everybody's, the whole time they're separated.
They were all doing their own part to make sure that plan was a success, but it was very disjointed, I agree.
It was very disjointed, and you didn't feel that camaraderie, and that's what hit you in the feels, at least hit me in the feels for the first season. That camaraderie, that group of friends, little group of friends, you know, up against something that's way beyond them. And are they going to make it? How can they? They're just kids, blah, 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 but all the kids band together, and they do it. And in this one, you didn't have that. I mean, even Mark, was it Mark, the one who's in It, whatever, who was like the main character in the first one, you hardly see him in this one. It was basically all Dustin and Steve.
Yeah, even in the talk shows, he talks about how like he's emo Mark or emo what's his character's name? Oh God. But that, like, it's the emo version of his character for the first several episodes until he finally starts to pick up when 11 comes into the picture.
Yeah, and the thing is, that's something that they could have. Like, that's something that I don't know if you guys, audience, but for me, I wanted to see more of. I wanted to see the search for 11 type of thing.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly. I was completely expecting this whole big crap. Now we got to find 11. Like, how we're going to find her.
Exactly.
We didn't get that.
They could have made a whole season off that. The search.
Yeah, but
for
that would
11.
have been too derivative of the search for Will. I get that that's where they were leading with the previews and stuff like that for the second season, but I think they wanted to stay away from being like, oh, it's another search for a missing kid again, you know?
Yeah, but maybe not one that's always that's in danger like Will was, but you know, kind of bringing the group back together, the reunion.
Well,
I absolutely, yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, like, it wasn't gonna be more of a search. It was gonna be more of like, okay, how did she get herself out of the situation? Because I mean, she has abilities. I wasn't expecting there to be a search party. I was expecting it to be like, okay, she's now in the Upside Down world. How is she gonna get herself out?
Yeah.
But you see that they do flashbacks. Of
it was
how
like it was flashbacks and it was a quick thing. It wasn't like maybe 3 or 4 episodes of it. It was just like, all right, here's what happened. Here we go, back to the present when she's already.
I was okay with that
Cooper.
because I was okay with that because that was literally my favorite part of the entire show was the dynamic between Hooper and 11.
Mm-hmm.
Like I loved their relationship.
That was probably the best part of the whole season. Seeing that, like, he's trying to be a father figure, but he can't, and it's, you know, he's trying to protect her, but he's being very overprotective and almost, you know, dictatorial to her. And, you know, she's a young kid. She wants to break out. She wants to do all these things. She has the power to do so. Him trying to control her, but he can't ultimately. I mean, that was probably the meatiest fun of, you know, the whole
they're
season.
two powerhouses that don't back down, and he's got his own trauma from when he lost his daughter, and that's weighing in on things. And then she's got her own drama with trauma or whatever from her father and the situation with that. So it was it was really perfect. I loved it.
But here's what I'm concerned about, because again, going back to, I think we could all agree, like, episode 7 is the one that stuck out like a sore thumb. Like, it's like, what the hell's going on here?
her brief sojourn with her sister
That-
and
Yeah.
the gang.
But one
Yeah.
of the things that they're
Who
saying
basically
is that,
invited her to do murder. Like,
yeah, it's like, ooh, well, and
she's
I
like,
get,
I've
I get,
murdered. It's like,
and
like
I get where
upon
they're coming
first meeting.
from. Like, I know the story they were trying to tell, but it was just badly timed, not well executed. But what I'm worried about is that apparently they're saying that this is trying to set the stage for the next 3 seasons, because apparently they're greenlit for 5 total seasons. And what I'm concerned about and what I don't want to see is basically another X-Men type show where we have all these fucking teenagers with their own superpowers doing
Stranger
X-Men.
Things cinematic universe.
Exactly. Stranger Things,
mean,
X-Men,
that-
you know.
That may be a possibility. I don't know if they're gonna go that route.
I hope not.
I just felt like this whole sister dynamic was more like, this is what 11 could have turned out to be had she not found her group of friends and these people that have taken her in and adopted her and made her feel like a part of a family. She could have ended up on the streets and like this other girl and gone on this war path.
Exactly.
You know?
Which she has every right to do, but she realizes. I mean, it's that whole story. That whole story, and it's not a unique story. You see it almost everywhere. It's like, you know, what's home, what's family. You know, is it literal family or is it the people who actually make you feel like family? And she decides it's people who make you feel like family.
I think that was the entire point of that episode.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, it was ill-timed. It was put right after a big cliffhanger, like right after Hooper gets stuck in the Upside Down. It's like, and like, that's all I cared about. That was the first episode where I was like, I really want this one to be over because I want to know what really is going on.
It's
But
Hopper.
Hopper.
Because I had said hanging with Mr. Cooper, referencing an old TV show.
Yeah,
That's
it's
it.
Hopper. I know, and I picked it up on you what you were saying too.
Yeah.
But
Speaking about did anybody pick up anybody see the Punky Brewster Easter egg in there?
the what?
Punky Brewster.
Punky Brewster?
Oh, you guys aren't 80s kids. You guys suck.
I don't remember seeing it. Hang on.
It's Punky Brewster was in there with their Punky Power. Well, she didn't say Punky Power, but she was there. Which is kind of like it's like a little tongue-in-cheek thing about Eleven's character completely, but I don't think I'm getting too hardcore right now. I gotta get casual.
I didn't catch that reference.
That went clean over my head, yeah.
Oh, I watched it twice, so.
Oh,
I
of
can't-
course.
but
I only
saw-
binge watched it once.
But I did catch it the first time. So I guess because when I was a kid, I had a crush on Punky Brewster, and that's why I saw.
Oh, the truth comes out.
Come on, man! What? Come on! You're a cute little. I mean, I'm not like when I was a kid. Not now. I'm a pedophilia.
Whoa.
And that took a
I
dark
like
turn.
little children. You will not use that audio against me
This just got way too hardcore.
in the wrong way.
This just got way too criminal.
Punky Power.
But you know what I did like though that they didn't like do, which I thought they were going to, was the whole. In the first season, everyone was kind of withholding information from each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, Will is starting to see these things, but he's not going to tell anybody. But no, he immediately starts going to a therapist and tells people. I was like, okay, they're not going to go the stupid route where it's like, you're withholding information again.
Yeah, which was
Yeah.
good. That was kind of a sign of relief.
Yeah, that they're all part of this little. Okay, you're part. You know the government conspiracy. It's all hush hush. Ba 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 ba. Come to see me. We'll take care of you. Da, da, da. Yeah, that was better than just kind of rehashing all that from the first season.
Yeah,
Well-
and the mom is always like fucking on top of it, like immediately jumps into like, what needs to be done? What do I need to do? I will save you. Like, I don't fuck around.
It's Winona Ryder does such a great job with this character. I gotta
She does,
give her
yeah.
props. Because I mean,
How do you guys feel about Samwise Genji joining the?
You know, I
joining the cast?
loved his character. He's that. He did a good job with that character. He's that that goofy dad. Maybe she doesn't really love him, but she keeps him because he's a good guy and everything. And then in the end, he does the hero
Buys
thing.
the big one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did anybody
yeah.
pick up the little drawing they did of him? The superhero drawing of him at the end of the last episode?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
And I love his line. The one thing I'll never forget, the best thing he brought to that season was, "I hope it doesn't suck."
That was so bad.
I know, but that's like a dad joke.
So
Like,
good.
It was so good. I loved it.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. For like the first few episodes, especially with the scene in the car, I was on to this guy. Like, he's part of the fucking government. He was sent to like get
Oh my
close to
gosh.
Will. And I swear to God, I was like conspiracy theorist up the ass. I was like, no, this guy's
I know,
bad. He's gonna end up being a
It
bad
was
guy.
just genuine.
Man,
It was just
he was just
genuine-
He
normal
was
guy.
just too good to be true.
No,
That's
no.
how I felt. I was like, nah, this guy.
Nah. You read too much into
I,
that character.
I never
He
I never
was-
fell for that. I saw him for what he was, just a goofy,
Exactly, so
just
did
a goofy
I.
guy trying to find love. In
Yeah,
the, you know,
exactly.
with a crazy
I mean,
girl.
eventually I came around to that idea, and then I grew attached to him just in time to, like, you know, right in the feels. But in the beginning, I was like, I don't trust this one fucking bit.
Oh,
Oh no! Well, you were
Jeez.
disappointed there. But did you notice? I mean, like in the situation that happens to him, that he was the only one that it was so graphic with. Like everybody else, kind of like, oh
Yeah.
my leg. Him,
He
they-
wanted that. He specifically asked to go super gory on his death scene.
Oh, he
and like
did.
Yeah, I don't know if you stuck
Interesting.
around after you binge watched the season, but right
Oh, no.
after it, they suggested
am-
the talk show.
I am not into those things. I am not into those post-show talk shows. I think that is a
Oh,
cancer
well,
of
I
television.
also binge watched the shit out of that because you get to
Oh,
find out
really?
interesting little backstories and stuff that happens behind the scenes, and that was one of them.
Like the
that,
Talking Dead and fuck that shit.
Yeah, well, that was one of the tidbits.
I don't need
that
you
they
to tell me
shared.
what I saw. I saw it. But
Where,
so he said
the-
that. He said like make my
Yeah,
my
he's
going
the
out
one
graphic.
that they even got this like tiny little woman that came by on the set to be the demodog or whatever on top of him, shaking him and doing all that that stuff to make it more realistic when they did
Really?
the CGI. Yeah, it was really cool. It was interesting to watch, Mister.
See,
I don't
that's-
fucking watch the talk shows.
See, that's but here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. That is interesting that you mentioned that, but it's just like for me, again, because I'm all about immersion. So I'm there and I'm watching and I'm seeing all the other victims of the demi-dogs, and they're all like, you know, a bite on the leg, a bite on the chest, or on the arm, or whatever. They're not
or
so
a cutaway
gruesome.
shot.
Yeah,
Or
well,
cut
yeah.
away to something else.
Yeah, I mean, look at what happened to Paul Schaefer. He was fine, and he got attacked, and he was okay. But then Samwise, like,
I hated he
was
had to die in a
tastier?
dumb way.
Did he eat like a Papa John's pizza, and they made him tastier or something? Like they all went up to town on him, as opposed to everybody else. Like that stuck out to me. I was like, wait, what? Why are they eating him
Wait.
more than everybody else?
I was
he
just upset that they made him go in such a dumb way. Who the fuck, after running away from these things, knowing that they break down through the doors like fucking nothing, stops to stare at somebody instead of getting out safely? Like, I just thought it's a movie trope. It is a movie trope, and I did not appreciate it.
Yeah,
I was like,
I
if he
saw
was
it
gonna
coming.
go down,
saw
I
it
wish
coming.
they would have done it a different way.
Yeah, and the thing is, I saw it coming. I knew it was gonna happen.
I mean, I knew it was gonna happen. I just didn't want it to go the very cliche route that they went.
Yeah, it was a little cliche, wasn't it? And that's the thing, you know.
I mean, she even had a dramatic no while she stands there and does nothing.
Exactly. But I mean,
so
whatever.
bad.
It was done, and ultimately, I think it was a little. Again, I think season 1 was better. It was. I mean, it wasn't bad. Again, I watched it twice. Gonna find out who's naughty or nice, and but I'm worried about where it's going, and it's gonna lose its pizzazz. It's gonna lose its magic, and it wouldn't be the first show to do that.
I just want to know where it's going to go from here. They introduced this ginormous mind flayer monster that's kind of like this all-knowing, all-seeing type of hive mind thing. Like, where do they go from there?
Yeah, and it's still around. It's right
I mean,
there
yeah,
above
it's
the
still
school
around,
in the
but-
underworld. So I mean, they gave us enough of a cliffhanger to want to see more. But again, like for me, like episode 7 left a really bad taste in my mouth, and I really hope it doesn't go that direction.
I was not pleased at all with the whole sister thing. I actually wasn't too happy about including the fact that there was another one like her around. I kind of liked
But you
it.
knew that from the numbers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, I know,
implied.
I know,
And the
but-
thing is, it'll be kind of cool to see, who's number 1? Oh my god. And The
Oh,
other thing
jeez.
is, like, I just hope it's not like all females. Like have some diversity in there.
I don't know. All the flashbacks only showed little girls, so.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, all the ones I saw, we were originally talking about how in the first season they all were going towards one goal, which was find Will. But
Right.
in this season, I felt like everyone kind of had their own mission, and it didn't really connect at the end. So, for example, the part that I
Exactly.
hate the most in both seasons is the fucking teenager arc. I don't give a shit about your love story. Literally everything you do is pointless. Like, I don't care. Get me back to
Really?
the main character.
Wait,
Yes.
are we talking about? Because I do have to say, one of the best character arcs and one of my favorite characters.
Oh,
in
Steve?
both seasons.
I love-
Steve.
yeah.
I love Steve. I love Steve. Oh my, like first.
But I don't count him as part of like the teenager.
He's a. What the fuck is he then?
No, I don't count him as part of. I don't count him as part of like the stupid teenager arc where it's. I count the sister and Jonathan.
Oh,
Like
did you
I
hear
could
about
not
Oh, yeah,
care.
yeah.
I could not care less about what those two are fucking doing. I don't care.
Really?
Oh, Barb's parents don't know that she's dead, and they're spending all their money, and I feel so. I don't care. I
Oh,
don't.
yeah, that was dumb.
I
yeah,
don't
that was a
care.
little like you could have done without that.
That was unnecessary. They could have.
But-
It could have been something quick, like what they did.
And they go
with
to this
11's
random
flashback
dude's
or something.
fucking house to prove this like fucking theory, and he basically tells them to go have sex.
No, and that's a weird thing.
And
Who
gives
does
them
that?
alcohol.
The
I understand it's the
conspiracy theory.
80s, but for crap's sake, two teenagers just drive up to a crazy dude. The guy looked like Matt.
Oh God! Don't bring him in. Not David's. Not David's new baby. by
No,
the
not
way.
David. Clearly not. I mean,
I don't know.
the-
You
the
can be a
freaking-
creeper.
This guy freaking like two teenagers go to this guy's house, this random guy's house. They've never met him, but they know about him somehow.
Yeah.
And they go there and they you know what? It's very late. You might as well just spend the night. Oh,
No,
okay,
no, no,
cool.
no, no, no.
He's like,
Let me
what?
let me get you drunk first. Have some drinks,
Yeah, let me.
Exactly.
Oh no,
Here.
but don't worry, he watered it down. It's
He
okay.
watered it down. Yeah.
which
He
was
waters
part of
it
the
down.
theory. And then
Spend
here,
the night. And he's like, oh, you guys, there's something going on here. You guys can take
no,
the
but
bed.
here's
It's like,
here's
what?
here's the dirty implied truth. Because remember, this guy's a conspiracy theorist and he's paranoid. You know he had cameras in that room. You know he was just watching.
Oh,
like a
God,
fucking
come
creeper
on, man.
with his
Oh.
watered down vodka and his loosened robe.
I just
Oh,
felt he was
geez.
very. It
Stranger
made me
Things.
uncomfortable. Like, how could this guy offer alcohol to these teenagers, let them sleep over, and even though he's a fucking essentially a stranger, and not just that, but then encourage them to sleep in the same bed because he knows they want to fuck each other.
And then
Like,
give him props afterwards, like, hey.
you know, like just all of that made me feel just incredibly uncomfortable.
Yeah, well,
That
he is a
whole
little bit of a creepy
situation was
character,
incredibly
but-
uncomfortable. Forget all that crap. I mean, it's like, man.
Yeah.
From the very beginning, it was a little weird. Like, I can understand going to the guy's house and then doing all that stuff, but then drinking, and then, oh yeah, just let's have, what was it, breakfast or whatever. They started eating together. It's like, what? What? Was this the 80s? It's like, what the hell? The hell's going on here?
And again, that kind of just goes back to my like I don't care if it's freaking repetitive. Do the best you can. Give me more Goonies feel. I want to see the kids band together.
You want to see the truffle shuffle?
What?
You want to see Dustin do
I
the
want to
truffle
see.
shuffle?
I want to see the Dolphin shuffle.
Oh, gosh.
But
The-
I mean, again,
I
not
did-
bad. Wonderful, wonderful show. Great show so far. Worthy of even
of course.
rewatching. But just just be careful what you do with season 3, please.
Yeah. I do think that all the actors did a phenomenal job, including the teenagers, even though I hated their arc. Like, that girl played a perfect drunk. I've never seen a
Yeah.
more perfect drunk than what she did in that season.
Oh my God, the bathroom scene.
Yes, that bathroom
I was
scene was
so
amazing.
impressed with that. Yeah, she did a really good job. The whole bullshit. This is all she had.
bullshit.
Like I almost thought she was actually drunk for that scene.
She
It
probably
was
was.
really good.
Like she had the. I mean, I guess we've all dealt with drunk people in our lives. People who have drank way too much. Oh no, of course you all know me. Anyways,
Exactly.
So, but no, she
Adrian.
nailed that. It's Adrian. But Maria and I we were watching that together, and we're kind of like, my God, she's just like nailing it.
Yeah, same here. I
Probably
was
best
like,
performance on the show right there. That was just perfect.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
well.
yeah, and I do appreciate Steve's arc. I like what they're doing with his character.
He has that's good writing right there. When we can, the audience could first when we meet a character, fuck this guy. We hate this guy. This guy's a douchebag. Oh,
Well,
okay,
he was supposed to be a stereotype trope, but the actor was so good and likable that they
No, but-
rewrote it based on the actor.
Yeah, no, but even the first season, at the end of the first season, I ended up liking him a lot more than I
No,
did
they
when
did
at
it
the
from
beginning.
the first season.
Yeah, and then but in the first season, even his little arc in the first season, at first I hated him. At the end of the first season, okay, whatever. And then within this one, dude, I want him to be my friend. I want to freaking hang out with this guy. This guy's cool. So like to go from I fucking hate this guy to I want this guy to be my friend. Awesome story arc, and that's just right there. That's good. That's good storytelling.
What did you guys think of Max's older brother, or whatever that was?
He was so good too.
He was good at
He
making
was like
you hate
Lost
him.
Boys meets
Yeah,
Yep.
like
good comparison.
it was
the
really good. And
Trans
oh my god, that scene with the mom though.
The
oh
eyeliner.
my god.
Oh yeah. No,
It was so good.
No. Actually, what was really good was the scene with his dad. You saw him just go from here to like down here. Like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, well, they had to give you
Yeah.
context, a little bit of context as to why he was the way that he was. But
Yeah. Well, of course. But the thing is, it was just, they kept that little nugget till the end of the season. So you by then you're not used to seeing him in the submissive role. So you have this freaking alpha male, top dog. Don't fuck with me. I'll fucking kick your ass. By this time, he already kicked Steven's ass. Like that this guy you don't fuck with, and then you see him get brought from level
He's
10
like-
to level 1.
yeah, he's like one short straw away from snapping and fucking actually killing somebody. Like,
Yeah.
Yep.
he's that much on edge.
And the eyeliner also helped.
That's true. Yeah.
I don't know. I
freaking
thought the
eyeliner.
abs helped, but that's just me.
That's what you're looking at. I thought you know what he reminded me of? He reminded me of Buffalo Bill and Silence of the Lambs. Like
no,
he's
don't. Do
he's
not put
gonna-
that image in my head. No, no.
he's gonna be. He is just one more slap from his dad away from. Would you fuck me? I'll fuck putting on lipstick and dancing to Goodbye Horses, tucking his mangina.
I do think all the new additions of the characters were good. Like, I didn't feel like any of those characters were bad or not reusable for the next season.
I'd have
I
to
like
disagree. I mean, I like the idea of Mad Max. I liked Max, the idea of Max, but I guess I don't know.
I was expecting more. I was expecting more from her, like more contribution on her part. Like, oh, she's supposed to be all she did was drive a fucking car. Like,
Yeah.
That was her
but not
entire
just that.
contribution.
Her acting, and again, it's very hard to demand this from a child. But in a series, in a show where you have so many young actors performing so well, I don't know her name, but let's call her Ginger Girl. Ginger Girl's acting is so much lower than everybody else's and very one-dimensional. She basically carries the same facial expression and reaction throughout the entire season, and it just stood out. I mean, I know what they're trying to do with her character, and it's great to give what's his name a little love interest, and Dustin and what's his name? God, what's his name?
Oh, Lucas.
Lucas.
Yeah,
You know,
Lucas.
have a little bit of like, they're going at the same girl, but she likes Lucas and Lucas likes her. And yeah, but her acting was just so flat. And I guess in any other show with kids of that age, it would be passable. The other children in this series do so well that her acting just stands out as being
I mean,
bad.
maybe she'll grow into it. She's still getting some experience. Like, you can't demand perfection from everybody.
Oh no, I agree. But the thing is, it's just a shame that she's brought in, and all these other kids, with their experience, what they've done already, and even the first season, they were that's what hit me. Like, oh my god, I can't believe these kids are doing so well. I mean, they're freaking kids, and I swear to God, I don't think they've ever seen a cell phone in their life because that's how well they're acting their period piece. And then you have this new edition, and it's just not to that same caliber, and it stands out.
Speaking of amazing performances, Will, that kid that plays Will, he was amazing at playing like the possessed kid, but doing it so subtly over like the course of
Yes.
several episodes. And that one
Yes.
scene where they're interrogating him, basically trying to remind him of who he is, like his facial expressions, everything was so good.
And again, just going back to the acting caliber of the main, the let's just call them the veteran cast of Stranger Things now because they were in the first season. I mean, it's just you don't see that in child actors. I mean, go back to the people we saw, the child actors from when we were children growing up. You don't see that. That's what stands out about this. And yeah, Will. I mean, I feel bad for his character. He's the one that keeps getting screwed over about 2 seasons in a row, but he does a freaking amazing job. Like basically coming across as a possessed kid. One of the ones that stood out to me the most was when Noah's trying to ask, like, who am I? And he has that look
that scene,
of
yeah.
That look of like, mom.
Mom.
I mean, he does a freaking amazing job of that. Whether it's just natural talent or somebody trained him to be so well, but like, it hits a home run on that. What the hell did I just say? Hits a home run? What?
Overall, I think we all enjoyed season 2. I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. Overall, it's great.
It's safe to say.
Yeah. It's still good. It's a good show. Not what season 1, but again, it's going in a couple directions. Still worth watching, and just hopefully they do a little bit of a course correction and deliver on season 3 as well. But still, 2 seasons, 2 highly successful seasons. Cheers for them.
I'm curious to see what they're going to do with expanding the universe, expanding the whole thing.
Well,
with
technically,
Will.
the universe is in a constant state of expansion.
Oh god.
Yeah, but the thing with Will and the whole thing with now, since they kind of threw in this whole sister thing, let's see where that goes as well. I mean, it's going to
They
end
left avenues open to explore, but I think they don't want to box themselves into anything for the next season. They kind of want to make sure that they have the freedom to write in whatever direction that they want. So there's little nuggets here and there that they could flesh out, but they're not bound to do that. They tied things up enough in this season that they're not forced to have to revisit it in the next one.
Well, I mean, they do have to address the flare. I mean, that's how they ended the second season. So that's definitely going to go there. I mean, we know for sure we're going to have flare. We're going to have something with the other numbers, or maybe the sister, or the other numbers.
Possibly.
Which is fine. The only thing is find the balance. I mean, I understand you can't do the same thing over and over again. You can't repeat season 1. You can't do mature adult Goonies over and over again because it will get boring. But you can't go off the deep end and do something completely different that you forget that, am I watching Stranger Things or am I watching X-Men? So they gotta find that sweet spot that works. And that's, again, it's not an easy task, so good luck to them. I hope they do it because it's great material. It's a great show. It's a great premise. It's been doing very, very well. I just hope that they don't just overplay their hand and then have it all crash down on them.
You know what I want to know? I want to know what they're going to use to keep Winona Ryder's character from moving her family away. I mean, the boyfriend is basically what kept her in town as long as she was planning on moving. And the boyfriend is what kept her in town for the second season. Like, what's keeping her there now? Like, I would be like, fuck this place. I'm getting my children and getting the fuck out of here.
That's a great question, but I would probably say finances. I mean, it's pretty established that her family's not wealthy. She's a single parent, and she works, in a grocery store. She probably does not have the means to move.
Well, not just that, but you got to remember that Will now has a connection to the Upside Down world. Like,
but it was severed.
Severed. It seems like it was severed.
That we know of.
With his exposure in the Upside Down world in season 1, was everything that he was experiencing in season 2, was it just the Mind Flayer itself, or now that it's been severed, is this an ability that he now has, and he just doesn't realize it?
I think they left that open for the next season as well.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? But actually, Ivy, I'm very impressed. That was a great. I haven't thought about that. Like, what's keeping her there?
I mean, the boyfriend and the fact that Will was attending the therapy sessions with the company. Those were the two things that probably kept her there. But like, clearly the company's fucking up. No one knows what the fuck they're doing. Like, what is keeping her there now?
And also, I mean,
abilities aside, it could be she doesn't want to separate her kid from his friends.
Yeah, which obviously they have a very strong bond. But actually, while you were saying that, I'm just thinking, but what's... I'm wondering, okay, because they end the season with Mind Flayer in the Upside Down, but L closed the breach. So is that even a threat? I mean, the breach is closed.
Well,
I think
the
it was
Mind
closed.
Flayer... Yeah, go ahead.
I think it was closed temporarily. Like it was.
No, because L elevated and screamed really loud.
No,
I
I
know,
think there's
but-
multiple breaches, and I think that the Mind Flayer, we've already established as a hive mind, so we might not directly see it again in the third season, but it will be influencing the things that are in the Upside Down to possibly like come into the real world again.
Well, stay tuned. The
Also-
same bat channel, same bat time, whatever the hell. What are you saying?
Also, what are 11's limitations? Because obviously she bleeds from the nose every time she uses her powers. What are the long-term effects? Is this shortening her lifespan, or is this just flat out screwing her up inside or internally? And she's not the only one, so this means that her sister or sisters will have the same problem.
Actually, one thing I did like with the sister, and it kind of makes me curious on that point, was that they didn't have the same powers. So what other powers do the other sisters have? And what can they do with them? Assuming they're sisters, maybe.
I mean, I think that's why they kept creating more of these experiments, because they were looking for somebody like 11. That's why they pushed 11 so much harder to be able to, all right, now kill this cat, or do this, or do that. Because she's still coming into her powers. She's still getting more powerful, and that's what that last season shows you, is that she can close this fucking breach. She's super powerful.
But not only
you don't
that,
know what the limits are.
not only that, it was subtle, but it was subtly obvious, oxymoron. But she can levitate. She could maybe even fly. You saw that when she got really into it, and she let out that really loud scream. She got off the ground while she was closing that breach. So, like,
I mean, she made a spaceship hover. Why couldn't she make herself hover?
well, but the thing is, is she's obviously telekinetic, but again, we'll see what her limits are and what she can do, and that's impressive. But now I want to go to a question, just a matter of opinion. Which power do you think is better? 6's power or 11's power? The power to make people see something so
I think, wasn't it 8? I'm pretty sure she was 8, not 6.
8. Sorry, 8. Yeah, you're right, 8. So the power to make people see something so vividly that like they believe it's there, or what we know of 11's powers so far.
Well, I've always wanted to have 11's powers, so that's not even a question for me. Like,
All right.
instantly, I've always wanted to be able to do, like, telekinetic stuff, so.
Same thing. 100% 11.
Not just that, but, like, 11's is a very visceral power, and it's something that would be very hard to fight against, versus 8's power, which she basically explained to 11 what her power is, and 11 could see through it to a certain extent. Like, all right, I know that you're the one that's doing this to me. It's very real to me right now, but I know it's you that's doing it.
But that's because it was explained to her.
Yeah, it was explained to her, but you can overcome that.
You can't overcome an actual telekinetic person throwing you off a building.
I mean, I would like to see you try survive that, but okay.
No, I'm saying like you can't overcome that. You could overcome somebody making you see a pile of shit going through under the door in the bathroom, as in episode 7, but you can't overcome 11 snapping your neck.
Basically.
You did not snap my neck. That did not happen.
I do not recognize this.
I don't recognize the fact that I'm dead. Oh god! All right, cool. All right, okay. So, all right. Next on the docket. Okay, I know that you wanted to talk about some slightly political stuff, but before we get there, I want to talk about something that I'm passionate about, and that is The Room, and the fact that we're only a month away from the feature film The Disaster Artist, which it's got double praise right now. James Franco is a shoo-in for either Academy or Golden Globes award. This has won a couple of indie film awards already. It's got the Golden Shell in one of the Canadian film festivals or whatever. And it's apparently getting a lot of popularity. The Disaster Artist. So the new trailer was released earlier this week, which if you haven't seen it, watch it. It's hilarious, especially the end. And it finally drove me to do something I've been planning on doing, was buying the Disaster Artist book. But I didn't buy the physical book. I bought the audiobook narrated by Greg Sestero.
Tommy Wiseau himself.
No, Greg Sestero, who plays Mark in The Room. And he goes into the funniest Tommy Wiseau impersonations throughout the book, which makes it so worth it. But yeah, are any of you guys excited to see this? Have you guys seen the trailers?
Yes.
I wanted to see the original before I see that movie.
That's right. I haven't made you guys see The Room yet.
Yeah, we
No.
haven't seen the original, but I did see the new trailer, which I have several thoughts about. And one is that it completely had a different tone and everything from the first trailer. The first trailer, straight up, I was like, B-movie parody, it's gonna be hilarious, but like bad movie quality, funny. And I thought that's what they were shooting for. And then I see the second trailer, and I'm like, no, they're full on making this like theatrical, serious, like the story of making of this. They're still being funny, but it's like, I don't know, it's a lot more serious than I thought it was gonna be, and a lot more production value than I thought they were gonna put in it.
Well, the thing is, remember, the Disaster Artist movie is obviously based off the Disaster Artist book, which I'm listening to right now. I'm probably the only one doing that, and it's interesting because you get to see, and I'm sure you're going to see it in the movie, but as I'm listening to this audiobook, you're listening to the background behind Tommy Wiseau, this very mysterious guy who has apparently unlimited amounts of money at his disposal, but yet is very frugal about it, who's very secretive, doesn't like talking about where he's from or his background or his age or where he gets his money from, but is very passionate about trying to make his mark in the world and make his mark in Hollywood, and is willing to do anything, including pissing off a bunch of people trying to make a movie and ignoring any direction. Like, he has his own vision. I'm going to make one thing the way I want to do it. Fuck you to anybody else who tries to correct me. And eventually it being successful, but not in the way that he
intended.
thought. Yeah, he intended. It's so interesting, this guy, his story. And as I'm like maybe 12 chapters in out of 19. And I almost like, it's kind of like, I would hate to work for the guy, but I just want to know
Be a
him.
fly on the wall. You want to be a fly on the wall.
I want to be the fly on the wall, but I also want to be like, hey, Tommy, it's nice to meet you. Oh, hi, Adrian, nice to meet you.
Adrian.
Oh my god, James Franco nails that fucking accent.
He
It's
is
so good.
I'm telling you that James Franco has to get an award for what he's doing. He has to. Like, he is like. Have you heard what he's been like? What it was like doing him for that movie? Apparently, he was in character from pre-production to even after post-production, even afterwards. And so he was. I mean, think about it. He was method acting and acting in a movie where the character he is method acting is actor, producer, director, and executive producer. Like, he really had to freaking become Tommy for this whole thing, and apparently it stuck to him because I was watching some interviews with the casts, and even like if they weren't filming, like they went out to like go eat dinner, James was still in full Tommy mode.
Oh my god.
Jeez.
That must have been insane and surreal.
It was really fun to do. You got no idea, my god.
Oh, hi,
But-
Doc.
That's all you know, Danny. I gotta make you watch.
I
the
know.
movie,
We
by the
gotta
way.
freaking do that show or whatever and sit down. Well, all of us sit down and finally watch it.
Oh, you guys gotta watch it. But
You really
it-
screwed
but-
the pooch by freaking watching it.
Oh, I've watched it 8 times already.
Oh my god.
I love this movie. I love The Room. Oh my god, I can't wait till you guys see it. But listening to The Disaster Artist just puts it into just puts it into more context, and I just really can't wait till the movie comes out just to see the quality of the performance, but just to see what I'm listening to visualized, personified in front of me, so I can enjoy it even more. But that's my little 2 cents about The Room for this episode.
You're getting way too hardcore about this.
No, I am totally actually like
Disclaimer.
I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Next month, aside from the Disaster Artist coming out next month, they are actually screening The Room at the theater in Miami Beach, which I am going to, dressed as Tommy Wiseau. Which, by the way, I was Tommy Wiseau for Halloween.
Of course you were. Oh my god.
I was Tommy Wiseau for Halloween, and I was working, and I swear to God, I was in character the whole day. So customers came up to me and said, "Oh, can you help me?" He's like, "Oh, hi, yeah, I can totally help you. What do you need? Oh, this is beautiful china. This is made out of the finest china. You get it anywhere. Your 5-piece plate setting for $135. Buy 3 get 1 free. It's a good deal. Buy now."
And then you look
This
over.
is-
Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh my god. This is
Oh no,
Every
no! They're
time.
like my
Every
coworkers,
time.
like, oh, Dorit's like, oh, Adrian's like, oh, hi, Dorit, how are you? Like the whole day, and people listen to this. So I had my sports coat, I had my V-neck shirt, I had my stone-colored cargo pants, I had my wig, and I had my football, and my sunglasses on, and people thought I got. Are you Ozzy Osbourne? Are you Howard Stern? Are you Colin Kaepernick? And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? The Colin Kaepernick? No, did you not see? I'm American. And then the one that
What do you
threw me
mean?
out
What
the
accent?
You tear me apart, Dory.
the best one was like, are you Khloe Kardashian?
Oh, God.
Like what the fuck wrong with you, man? Oh, that was the
Talk
best.
about Tommy Wiseau in Inception. You are method acting being him to go watch a movie where a guy is method acting to be him, who's method acting in the movie he was in.
Bomb!
You're the dude who's playing the dude who's trying to be the dude.
The dude.
No, seriously, I have to admit, I might need to seek psychological help. But like even like in everyday life now, like ask Maria, like I will just
Now is when you realize you need to
Oh
seek
my
psychological help? Now. Right
like
now.
like sometimes I'll talk to like Maria or whatever. Like I'll just randomly Tommy and be like, no, I don't want that for dinner. Make something else.
Oh, God.
Why can't you use the thing? Like whatever. Yes, I love Tommy Wiseau. I'm in love with him, man.
Okay.
Acha.
Headchala.
And on that note,
Net
Oh, look at
neutrality.
the time.
but I feel like that movie gained a lot of popularity because obviously it was so bad, but also because of the amount of access to the internet and all of the parodies and stuff to show up on like places like YouTube and things like that, which brings me now to the topic I want to talk about, which is net neutrality.
Yes. Oh God. Okay. Now this is where we could really get it. I mean, I'm have a very strong stance on the subject. So I mean, do go really hardcore here. But I mean, yeah. If we want to delve into net neutrality, let's go for it.
I mean, basically, it's an issue that's been brought up for the last decade over and over and over.
Multiple times. And
Multiple times where these ISPs are trying to loosen the regulations from the FCC. It's basically the things that are preventing them from slowing down, speeding up, or blocking certain websites at their fucking leisure. You know, and they try to disguise it as like, oh, we just don't want to be treated as monopolies, or oh, you know, like it's not like we're going to be doing any of that. We just don't want to have these restrictions. And now they're even lobbying to not have the states, if the FCC deregulates the net neutrality laws or whatever. Now the states, there's like at least 30 of them that are like, yeah, we're going to put our own net neutrality laws in place, and it'll be all over the place. So now they're trying to prevent that from happening too. To me, I just feel like it's another way for them to eventually make more money. Oh, you want to be able to have fast streaming on your website? Well, guess what? Now you got to pay me more.
Yeah, it's one of those things where for me it's divisive. It tears me apart. But here for net neutrality again, like deregulating the internet first, kind of oh yeah, cool. But knowing what they want to do with it, it basically doesn't make the internet free anymore. I would rather have the internet be the last free bastion in basically sharing information.
Human liberties and rights, like
human liberties and rights for
it is a human right at this point.
That's a little difficult to talk to go to right there, and I don't want to get too politicized in this conversation, but you could discuss that personally, but it does need to be accessible, for all. It does need to be accessible. It is a form of now communication, which communication and the ability to speak and express yourself is a right. So I wouldn't say the internet is a right, but it is a tool to express your right, to voice your rights.
But don't kid yourself. That's not where it's limited. Are you kidding me? You can't get a job without access to the internet.
That's true.
Like,
I mean, it's gone to that point.
You actually need it to live, to be able to function as a working member of society. You need to have access to the internet. No one's going to read your printed out resume when they're all looking at these job sites online for resumes. Like,
yeah, no. Again, you're not wrong. And I just don't like the idea that people are that they want to now put up barriers and make it difficult for people to access and use the internet. So, and what pisses me off the most is that net neutrality has been struck down multiple times, and they keep going after it. They keep trying to make this happen, which is, I think by now it's starting to become, people getting worn out. Because this just keeps getting brought up over and over again. Okay, we struck down net neutrality once, twice, thrice. Oh, here it is again, motherfucker. What the hell? Like, get the fucking point again. It's not gonna happen. So, anyways, favorite gaming genres. but actually, Ivy, if you ever want to discuss this personally, happy to.
Well, what I was gonna say before we move on is that one of the things that they're trying to portray is that, oh, you can't treat us as monopolies. We're not monopolies. But if you think about it, they kind of are. When you go to move into a new place, you get, if you're lucky, you get one choice, if not two. Like,
no, yeah, the telecommunications industry is totally a monopoly, and I don't know how that is. It's not seen that way. I mean, seriously, you only have the big C, the big A, and that's it. That's basically it.
I mean, most places only offer those, yeah, and then.
No, but
you dare to call yourself not a monopoly? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's basically all you have. It is a monopoly. What the frick? But again, we're getting too hardcore on a political issue, and we're supposed to be about fun and games and escaping political issues. So let's go to favorite gaming genres and what are we playing? Danny, kick us off here.
Favorite gaming genres? It's a toss-up between first-person shooters and fighting games. Mortal Kombat, Destiny.
Well,
and third-person shooters.
That's one of each. Third-person shooters.
It's a toss-up between those three. I mean, I like all three of them. I guess if I had to really, really choose one...
I love that game. Oh my god, I remember playing that game. Shit. But before the mods, man, the mods kind of
before the mod, exactly. Before the mod. Oh man, I guess crap. I guess I would have to go. I'll say shooter.
Over fighting games, really? I would have thought you would like fighting games more.
Yeah, same.
I mean, dude, when every time I look at you, one of the first things aside from Undertaker is Mortal Kombat.
Mortal
Kombat, yeah, exactly. Exactly, but man...
Don't lie to us, Sandy. We know you too well.
We know you better than you do.
You got me. Mortal Kombat.
Specifically Mortal Kombat 2.
Oh, jeez, yes. When I was in college, they had a cabinet. Oh, I was there every break just playing.
They had a cabinet? 2. No way. A cabinet. Ooh.
They had a cabinet, and I would be playing there with the game design guys. They would wreck me, but I would still play. That would be awesome. I loved it.
Oh, man. What about you, Ivy? What's your preferred gaming
RPGs
genre?
By a landslide. RPGs.
What's your favorite RPG?
Oh, fuck.
And it could be a series. It could be a series. You don't have to be a specific game.
Probably a toss-up between the Final Fantasy series and the Legend of Zelda series. And I know that's where you're going.
like seriously, if you were within arm's reach, I'd give you a big hug right now. I'd be like, oh my god. But okay, since you like Final Fantasy series, and I love Final Fantasy, but to a point, because I do feel that after 8, maybe one could argue after 9, it took a completely different turn. And Final Fantasy, as we know it today, is not the Final Fantasy I grew to love.
No,
Would
of
you
course
agree?
not. No,
I
it's
mean,
it's true.
definitely, yeah.
I don't even
Yeah?
play those games, and I know it's true because
Yeah,
of you guys.
It's been through quite the metamorphosis, and
Yeah, but it's one of those series that's going in the wrong direction.
well,
mean,
I love Final Fantasy 15. I put in like a fucking 100 hours in that game.
really?
Yeah. I know. And look at him. He just fucking tossed himself down. Like, in dismay.
Really? Oh man.
It was amazing. I liked it. I mean,
Yeah.
granted, it was a little cheesy with the whole like emo boy band look, but other than that, I loved the story. I loved the combat. I loved everything about it. I love that game.
I don't know, man. I just feel like and I think a lot of people have made this argument, not just for Final Fantasy, but for a lot of RPGs in general, is that, like, back in the day, we had poor graphics, so they made up for the bad graphics, the 8-bit, the 32-bit, whatever, 16-bit, with amazing story, deep story. And you could play the game, and you could miss a lot of stuff that made the story. And then as technology got better, Final Fantasy VII era, yeah, you got wonderful graphics, but then the story started being sacrificed a bit. And then I remember when I first started playing 10, I was like, the fuck am I playing? This is not
You
Final
didn't like
Fantasy.
10?
I did not like 10. I will take that to the grave. 10 sucked.
What? Now,
10
you can't
is where
see
my
me on
relationship...
camera, but I'm tossing myself over.
I don't care. 10 is where I was like, am I playing Final Fantasy? I don't think I am. Now then Final Fantasy 11, I was like, hey, Final Fantasy 11 online. But yeah, and then 10 too. God.
No,
God, 10.
do not even speak of that game. Do not speak of that game to me.
I will speak of it.
No,
I will speak of it.
it doesn't
The Net
exist.
Neutrality laws have not passed yet, and I will speak of it.
Wait, which one?
10
It doesn't
too.
exist, Daddy. Don't ask.
Oh,
Don't ask,
okay.
don't tell.
The girl band one.
Oh my god.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, I
Oh, okay. I think I know which one you're talking about. Okay.
I mean, but like, I guess, like, seriously, like, can you get Final Fantasy 4 again? Can you get Final Fantasy 6 again?
They lost me on Final Fantasy 12 and 13, and I just no. Like, those games I did not like. I barely got through the intro, and I was like, no.
It just, because the thing is, like, I play, what was the game I played? Shit, I forgot the game. It was just like a generic, like, they have been becoming generic Japanese RPGs, and it's lost the depth. And that's what I loved about the original Final Fantasies, was the depth. I mean, the story in Final Fantasy IV, the multiple stories in Final Fantasy VI, the really kind of Final Destination-ish love story of Final Fantasy VIII. Like, you don't get that. That wasn't in Final Fantasy X. I mean, playing the game, fun, fine. The gameplay was great. Story, not there. And that's the thing. I guess that's where my disconnect is. I play Final Fantasy not just for the gameplay. I played it for the story, and I haven't. It hasn't delivered at the level I expect since 8.
I mean, you missed the giant rant that we all went on about how gaming used to be, and a part of that was the level of difficulty and the level of storytelling that older games used to have.
Oh yeah.
And that's just something that unfortunately is what it is, unless you go to like indie games. Indie games stay true to the storytelling. But
I mean, maybe, and yet you're right with indie games, but there's been some big games that have been able to rectify that. And I mean, a big one, I'm not sure if you played it, but a big one, and it's a series now, Witcher did it.
yeah,
Witcher
I haven't played that one.
Witcher gave us freaking beautiful visuals, awesome gameplay, and an amazing freaking story that spans 3 games. And it's one of the few gaming trilogies where it consistently got better and deeper as it progressed. I mean, I remember playing the first Witcher, and I was like, oh my god, this game is great. Little repetitive combat, story's fantastic, visuals great. Then I played Witcher 2, and I'm like, oh my freaking god, this is freaking amazing. Oh my god, the combat is difficult. That story's amazing. It can't do this again. Then Witcher 3, like, oh my god, this is fucking, the world's so big. Oh my god, everything does something. Yeah. I mean, Well, I can't think of another gaming series that took me on the same journey as The Witcher did.
But that's an exception nowadays. Like, there's not a lot of that anymore.
Yeah, I guess just like politically, gaming-wise, I'm an idealist. Why does that have to be the exception? Why can't that be the rule? Why can't...
I don't know. Go into
Why
game
can't
making
everybody
and
be
change the world.
3D Project Red? Yes! Here comes
Danny?
Witcher 4!
Danny, thoughts?
I have no comment on the situation.
You're not a very big RPG fan.
I'm not very big into RPGs.
Nah, he's not an RPG guy. He just wants to quickly shoot and kill people.
Yeah, I want to shoot people in the face or punch people in the face.
Or the nuts.
Or,
I mean,
or
Johnny,
aliens.
Johnny Cage
no,
did
no,
that.
no, no. Stab people in the throat. Scorpion.
And then I'll tell him to get over here.
I mean, I remember playing other series like, Wild Arms and Alundra and all of those RPGs, and I love the storylines in those, but you just don't get that kind of level of deep storytelling in these games anymore. They're more focused on either the graphics or, the game mechanics, or, they've oversimplified everything, including the storytelling.
Oversimplified, aka dumbed down, and that's the thing. Like, I grew up with video games. That 15 years ago that are more intelligent than the games coming out now, and that's what I expect. That's why I find myself sometimes I'll plug in my N64, I'll activate my ROMs, and I'll play 90s game because the other week I spent the whole week playing Nomad. I doubt any of you guys know what the heck that is, but I played Nomad for a week, which was a 1993. Basically, it's a space exploration, space combat simulator. Just because of the depth of that game had for a game of its time. Because I get bored of modern games easily.
I don't know. There's still games that have a lot of merit and that I enjoy playing. Like, actually, for example, I just recently played Dead Space, the first one, because I hadn't played it. And that game was amazing.
That's a good one.
It legit fucking scared me. And I don't get scared in games, but it had so many jump scares that I legitimately screamed out loud in. I kind of wish I was streaming it, actually, now that I think about it. It would have been hilarious.
That would have been hilarious.
See, I eventually became immune to the jump scares of Dead Space, but one game that, again, we've had this conversation, I don't think you were in the podcast for that, but we talked about suspense versus jump scares. I'm more of a suspense guy versus jump scares. So I played Alien Isolation.
Yeah, I heard about that game.
And that game, I was like, like questioning everything I did.
Because you literally,
go?
it is almost impossible to kill the alien.
No, you can't. No, they purposely made it that you can't until the climax. So that's the thing. You can't. You have to survive. It is a true survival horror suspense thing. And
which I love survival horror. I guess that's another one of my favorite genres.
And like the original Resident Evil.
Yes. Oh my god, we got into that. We got into that hardcore last time.
Oh crap, man! I missed a good one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but and the thing is what I love about Alien Isolation as opposed to modern first-person shooters and modern video games where you're fucking superpowered and you move at the speed of light and can jump 50 stories tall and you have your jetpack to jump 100 stories tall and you have all this arsenal. In Alien Isolation, you're a fucking human being. You move at the pace of a human being and you get injured like a human being and you have to improvise weapons like a human being in that situation. You are essentially you are debuffed compared to other video games, but it's realistic because that's how you would be in that situation, making it more immersive and more suspenseful.
I would have shat myself in that situation.
You would shoot yourself? Fuck this alien!
Fuck it, I'm dead. Fuck it, just take me.
Okay, that's
I will live on as a xenomorph.
That's the route you choose. I choose to survive and hide in a locker and make a flame torch.
We all have lofty goals of surviving the zombie apocalypse, but I know my ass is gonna be one of the first people eaten. I'm gonna be like looking down at my phone, playing a video game or something, and a zombie's just gonna come out of nowhere and eat me. Like that's gonna happen.
I just imagine right now we get the news feed zombie apocalypse. Yvette just goes to her drawer, pulls out the gun. I refuse to participate.
I don't recognize this apocalypse.
Oh man, I can't tell you the amount of times like my friends and I would come up with zombie survival teams, but deep down I know we would all just fucking die.
Yeah, but it's not. That's the thing. I think everybody knows that with zombie survival, you're all gonna end up dead. It's how long you survive and how badass your kills are. Right? I mean, that's what it is.
Most people would say is trying to survive and, keep the human race going. But okay, yeah, badass kills. That's a close second.
I don't know. Surviving comes before fucking, so keep the human race going. That's what I took by you keep the human race going, but whatever. All right, wait. So as a fellow Zelda fan, I have to know, which is your favorite Zelda game, and why?
I have to say the original, and only because as a kid, I didn't have a lot of Nintendo games to choose from, but I would replay that game so many times, and I never lost interest. I never got bored with it. I could replay that game even now. I love the original.
I still play that game.
Yeah.
I respect your answer, and but I still think overall.
Let me guess.
Adrian beat it when he was 1.
I still keep getting younger every time you guys say it. Beat it when I was 4, fucker. I was.
Let me guess. Ocarina of Time.
Go. Which one?
Let me guess. Ocarina of Time.
Actually, no. I'm against the whole Ocarina of Time is God's shit thing. No, it's not. Ocarina of Time is a good game. It's not the greatest game. In fact, I prefer Majora's Mask over Ocarina of Time. But no, my favorite Zelda game is still Zelda 3, Link to the Past. I think overall, it is
For a second there, I thought you were going to say Zelda 2, and I was going to disown you.
Actually...
No!
Wind Waker!
No.
I like Zelda 2. I'm one of the few who do.
Oh my god.
But I'll tell you why. It is probably still to this day, even with Breath of the Wild out, it is probably the most challenging Zelda game. Yes, it is the most different. It is the most different. It is the least Zelda-ish of the Zelda ones.
It is the least Zelda-like game.
But you want to know something? I guess as a child, when I got to see Link's profile and see him jump and see him duck and see him do other things, it just made the hero. It just glorified him more. Like, oh, he could do more than just walk and extend his sword at the level of his dick. That just looked like he was, Yes, Danny. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. Don't facepalm me. Don't Picard me. That's what it looks like.
Picarded you.
Don't Picard me. It added Zelda 2 added more depth, and it just glorified the hero for me. So I still love that, and I love the fact that it was a challenge. Even now, I still have a hard time playing that game. And look, for the record, I didn't beat Zelda 2 till I was 16.
I still haven't beat Zelda 2.
I beat Zelda 1 when I was 4. I beat Zelda 2, which I've been playing at almost the same amount of time. I didn't beat it until I was 16. So it was a challenging game. It's very frustrating, yes. It's unforgiving and clunky. But I liked it. And it has the best dungeon music. That freaking temple music was used for Smash Brothers. It's freaking epic.
You beat it when we were in 10th grade?
Yeah, I beat Zelda 2 for the first time when I was like 16 years old.
I gave up on that game. I'm not gonna lie. I got to the final castle, and you have to go through that long ass route of those things that throw rocks on you. And you can't skip those fights, and you have to do like 3 or 4 of them before you even get to the castle. By the time you get to the castle,
you wasted 2 of your lives there. Yeah,
you're fucked.
It was unforgiving.
And then I got all the way to the final boss and died, and they put me right back to the beginning of that fucking gauntlet, and I was like, table flip, done with this fucking game.
You pulled a cartridge out of the fucking game.
Yeah, it was. It's not an easy game, and I guess that's what made me appreciate it, because every other Zelda game, including Breath of the Wild, is forgiving in comparison, and I guess I like that. I like a challenge. So I do like Zelda. I'm not saying it's the best one. It's probably maybe in my top 5. Definitely Link to the Past, Majora's Mask, the original, Link's Awakening, Zelda 2. That's probably the order.
Fucking Zelda 2 is the very bottom of my goddamn list. I remember farming one fucking slime over and over and over just to get enough points to get all the stuff that I need to level up the character, and then it was all for naught. I had the maxed out character, got to the final boss, still couldn't beat the goddamn thing. Table flip. Flip.
Well, that's your own damn fault. Why were you freaking fighting slime? Just freaking go and farm iron knuckles in the dungeons. By the time you get to that level, you could beat a dark red one easily.
You have no idea. I was like on fucking autopilot farming the shit out of that one piece of the level.
That was your bad choice of time. Use of your time, okay?
I mean, it wasn't just the slime, but I just remember the slime most vividly right now.
There was better ways to grind and level up in that game. Spiders and moblins in the forest were a good one too. Okay. Well, I guess that's gonna wrap it up for us tonight. I don't have David's little speech.
Oh God, Danny! Now you're gonna have to look that up. And for like
I don't have the speech.
Just like you looked at the intro last time.
Thanks for joining us. This has been the Hardcore Casuals Podcast. We're three childhood friends whose motto is just good enough. We're hardcore about a variety of topics, but too casual to be experts at any of them. Be sure to join us next time on this journey of mediocrity. I'm Danny.
I'm Adrian.
And I'm Ivy.
Until next time.
I don't have the outgoing speech.
Well,
hello everyone, welcome to the Hardcore Casuals Podcast.
No, that's my thing. That's my. Who did it last time? Was it David?
You have to start
Did
with
David
the fake
do it
laugh.
when I wasn't there?
No, you have to start with the fake laugh.
That's we got a fake laugh. Okay, wait, hold on. I think I got it. Did we fake laugh?
Yes, that always reminds people.
Thanks for joining us. This has been the Hardcore Casuals Podcast.
Oh my God, my sphincter never did so much. Well, that's about the much time we have tonight. Thank you for joining us.
Well, that about wraps it up. Oh, no, wait.
Yeah, that's it. What?
That about wraps it up. I'm David.
Okay, well, you almost had it. Do it again.
I'm gonna replace everyone. Thanks for joining us. This has been the Hardcore Casuals Podcast.
Oh my God, Ivy, you're opposite
We're
your
three
laugh.
childhood friends whose motto is just good enough.
Ivy's genuine laugh is
We're
great. She sounds like a
hardcore
freaking
about a variety
opera
of
singer.
topics, but too casual to be experts at any of them. Be sure to join us next time on this journey.
We're laughing too hard over you, Danny.
I'm
right
Danny.
Now. Stop.
Okay.
Because the tracks are separate, but I couldn't see it. I couldn't help from laughing myself.
You guys broke me.
I broke you out.
All right, go. Just go. We're going to it now.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Thanks for joining us. This has been the Hardcore Casuals Podcast. We're three childhood friends whose motto is just good enough. We're hardcore. Did he literally just flip over? What the hell? We're hardcore about a variety of talk. Blah, blah. We're hardcore about it. We're hardcore about. Oh, motherfucker.
What is line?
Line.
Stop that! We're hardcore about a. Blah. I suddenly can't word. I just can't word.
Are you gonna Frankenstein that altogether, dude? Well, I have idea. I'll do outro. It'll be good. All right. So thanks for joining us. This has been Hardcore Casual Podcast.
Oh my God, your face.
Anyways, how's your sex life? I got that in a joke.
Whose motto is just good enough. We're hardcore about a variety of topics, but too casual to be hardcore. Oh wow, but too casual to be experts at it. Fuck me in the goat ass.
Oh my God, did you do goat boy? Did you just say fuck me in the goat ass?
Yes.
Dude, that's like, damn. Fuck me in the goat ass.
Do you remember that?
Yes, I'm surprised you do.
Yes, of course. I had the CD.
Oh my God. Okay, now listen.
Hey, you want to get the football and pass the football around?
We're three childhood friends whose motto is just good enough. We're hardcore about a variety of topics, but too casual to be experts at any of them. I'm Ivy. Oh, be sure to join us next time on this journey of mediocrity. Fuck you guys.
Invite Yvette's ass. Keep the rest of her out of it.
I'm just along for the ride, I guess.
Apparently.
Danny.
She did her opera laugh again. Yvette, I love her opera
Just
laugh.
picture
It's the greatest
Ace
thing ever.
Ventura. Ho, 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 ho.
I like little children.